Yo, what's good? East Bear in the building. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today's special guest is Aaliyah Ybarra. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate it, especially like it being like the first one. I'm trying to get my friends on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Just like she said, my name is Aaliyah Ybarra. I am 31 years old. I am Hispanic. I am originally from Wellington, Kansas, and I identify, that was the other one, I identify as lesbian in the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, and your pronouns are she, her.
She, her, yes.
Okay. Yes, welcome.
Yes.
Wellington, Kansas. You were born and raised in Wellington?
Yes.
How big is Wellington?
Wellington's like 8,000 people.
So what was your graduating class?
Like I think we were still like 120.
120?
I believe.
El Dorado was like 170, so it wasn't too much bigger.
Yeah.
How was that being raised in Wellington, being Hispanic? Is there a lot of Hispanic there, or is it mostly white?
There's quite a bit of Hispanics there.
Yeah.
Even like now, the bars, I feel like as a whole, everybody kind of stays there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I still have family down there to this day, but it's just super small. Everybody knows everybody. You know how it goes. Small town. Everybody's always in your business type of deal.
Yeah, definitely know how that goes. So your family's pretty big. You have a big family?
Yes. So I am the youngest of 5. So I have 4 older brothers.
Dang.
Yeah.
5.
Yep.
That's nice. So how has your family been? Like, how were you raised? Like, were you like a close family? You guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. My parents still together to this day, which is kind of crazy to say nowadays. You know, not a lot of people's parents are even still together. So that's huge. Like a big staple in our house. Just everybody's super close. Even like now, I would say the youngest of the 4 brothers, or the 2 of the youngest ones, we are the 3 Musketeers. We're so close. Yeah.
That's like, you're the youngest, so like that relationship. How is that being the youngest in your family? Like,
you know, it's funny because everyone's always
especially
like,
the only girl too.
And you would think like, oh, you were so spoiled.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I feel like I'm just now, like the older I get, like the more that I'm like getting closer to my dad and like getting that little special treatment now.
Okay.
But growing up, no. They raised me just like one of the boys.
Yeah.
I fit right in, but I was the meanest one of them all though too. I had to fight for my own, you know.
So were you always like dressed masculine like growing up, or like were you like
my poor younger self. I feel like I was always a tomboy for sure.
Yeah.
Always. I just always felt more comfortable in that aspect. But I can literally remember, like, you know, you're in that, like, weird, awkward stage. Like, your parents, like, pick out your clothes.
Yeah.
My mom, she would, like, lay out, like, a week's worth of clothes. And one day of the week would always have a dress in it.
Oh, God.
And I would, like, oh, come on, Mom. Fight around it all the time, you know.
That's funny.
I would always pick out, like, the shorts. You know, like, shorts and t-shirts first. And then she would eventually make me wear it. And then I started getting smart. I'd be like, I would save it for like the days I had practice, so I couldn't wear it.
Smart, the system.
Yeah. So, but yes, always like tomboy, always just fit in with the guys all the time.
Did your parents ever fight you back on that, like with not wanting to wear the dresses, or?
I think at first, you know, I try to like look at it in their eyes now. Like, I can't imagine like having all these boys.
Yeah.
And you know, they have 5 kids at this point.
Right.
So, you know, they tried so hard to have a girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yes. Just like you were the last one. Yeah. We're going to keep going until we have this girl.
Exactly. So, like, then I think that they were a really good balance of, like, I would, like, tell her, like, Mom, I don't want to wear a dress. And she would be like, just wear it once a week. It's not that big of a deal. And so, like, I was a pretty, like, shy, quiet kid. Never really fought back. Never really, like, talked out of pocket by any means. But I feel like they were pretty good about it. Well, because once I kind of, like, grew out of it, like, them, like, growing, like, picking up my clothes and stuff, they were okay with it.
Yeah.
But like special occasions, they wanted me in a dress.
Yeah.
They wanted me like super like.
So was there any age like living with your parents that you stopped not wearing it, like giving in? Like, what age were you able to just be like, okay, this is who I am as being a tomboy 24/7?
Yeah.
When was that for you?
I would say high school. So I don't even think you know this.
What?
I was homeschooled.
Really? I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know this.
Why?
I was homeschooled from all the way up until, like, obviously, like, kindergarten till sophomore year. So we dabbled, 8th grade year, I say we as in my youngest brother out of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
They held him back a year, so we were in the same grade.
Okay.
But we dabbled in the 8th grade. We took a computer class in the 8th grade. 9th grade, we took a math class and a computer class. And then sophomore year, we were full in high school.
So why was it not known? Like, why did you not like to tell people?
I don't like to tell people, no.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I feel like people already put a lot of labels on me.
Uh-huh.
And to put you're homeschooled, you're already, like, boom, you're weird.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
that's interesting.
People, I, like, go, weird and homeschool go hand in hand.
Okay.
People are already, like, they already, like, assume they know who you are.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was always jealous of the people that were homeschooled. I was like, y'all only got to go to school for 2 hours, and then you're done for the day. Why am I sitting here 8 hours for the day?
No.
Yeah.
My mom was a stickler. Come on. No, we were up at 6:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
In the morning, 6:30 was when we started, and then we would do like all of our main courses, and then whenever we were done, she would make us do corrections. And then, so it didn't matter if we were done say we got done at 1 o'clock that day. If your corrections took you till 8 p.m., you were down there doing corrections.
Oh man, your mom didn't seem like she would be like that.
Yes. Yeah.
She seemed like she would be like the fun homeschool mom.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's interesting though. Like, yeah, I never knew that about you. Like,
Yeah.
So when you were at home, and so like that's where you just like became yourself. So you went to high school, actual school, like after your sophomore year?
Sophomore year was my first year of high school, technically.
Okay. How was that change for you? Like, and did that help you like mold your identity and who you are today? Like,
Mold it as in like in the community?
yeah.
You think? So, no, I don't think so. I think it just, honestly, like, it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
Going from, don't get me wrong, like, I played in rec sports, so that helped, like, getting into, like, being, like, the social aspect. That's, like, one thing that I, like, super thank my parents for, is putting us into those rec sports, because I was going in and I already knew people, so that was nice, like, going into school, like, oh, yeah, hey, you know, like, but the transition, I would say definitely, like, a culture shock, just, like, being able to be, like, who I am, and, like, being able to hold that innocence a little bit longer than anybody else, really, like, in the school system, to jumping right into sophomore, like, that's, like, your biggest changes.
Yes,
you know
definitely.
What I mean? So, definitely a huge, huge culture shock for me.
How was the transition? Like, was it hard for you? Like, when I met you, it must have been, like, around that time.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I don't even know, I can't even remember what grade we were in, honestly.
I think it would have been the summer of our sophomore year.
Yeah, like, I knew I was in high school, but I couldn't remember. You seemed like you and I clicked, like, when we met. Like, you didn't seem like you were anti-social at all. So, like, did you feel like you fit in pretty well?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
At Wellington, too, specifically?
Yes, but I had a really good, like I said, everybody knows who the Ibarras are.
Yeah. Okay.
So people already knew who I was, like, coming in, like, sports-wise even, too. Like, they already knew, like, you're just coming in to play ball.
Yeah.
So, like, that aspect, like, that was easy, but, like, to jump into, like, the LGBT community, I wasn't out yet.
Okay.
I was just now, like trying to figure out like who I was and what I
Right,
liked and
yeah.
what I was gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When did you come out?
I did not come out until my freshman year of college.
Okay. What brought you to that moment? Like, what was there anything before that, like prior to that made you interested in females? Or
So I actually had like my senior year.
okay.
I met a girl at school.
Okay.
That like we were like all under the wraps about.
Okay.
Like we like hung out, we like kissed, and we both were like, wait a second, you know, like, but at the time, like, she had a boyfriend.
Oh, that makes the story even more interesting.
Right. So, she would like go tell her mom like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend, and she would like come hang out with me, type of deal. Because neither one of us like wanted to like come out or like tell anything, like we didn't know, you know, we just enjoyed each other's time at that time. So that's how it kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like found my way once I got to college.
Yeah. What did you think? Like, did you know that you were? How do I ask this question? Did you know about the LGBTQ community when you were doing that your senior year? Like, did you know what a lesbian was? Or?
No.
Okay.
So sophomore year, there was a girl she had to have been a junior or senior, and I saw her kiss a girl in the parking lot, and I was like, "What?" I was homeschooled. I had never seen that before.
Right.
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah.
I was never like, wait a second. I was like, wait a second. And I was bothered. I came home and I was like, Mom, I saw a girl kiss another girl today. And like, looking back, I'm like, dang, that was like a higher age for me to like find that out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody else goes through that, like, it feels like middle school but I was in high school and I was like, wait a second. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of how what triggered it. Yeah,
I want to know, what was your mom's response when you came home and you told her that? Like, how did what was her reaction?
Honestly, I don't really remember, but I remember her just being like, well, like, that's just, if they choose to do that, that's just how they live their lives. I don't think she had a full-blown, like, conversation with me at all about it.
But she wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's nasty type either.
No.
She was just like, that's their choice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, that gives you the opportunity. So that's where it like started, where you felt like your senior year, like you were okay.
Oh yeah, senior year, I was like, I like girls.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing.
So where'd you go to college at?
I went to college at Barton Community College in Great Bend. Okay.
So was there like you went to school for sports, right?
Yeah, I played softball there.
Okay. All right. So do you remember our first practice, a softball practice? We're all getting our stretches in, and someone asked, "Is there anybody that's gay on the team?" Do you remember them doing that?
Yes.
Bro. We all said no. But I just feel like that was a setup question. I came out a couple years later because I came out when I was a senior in high school. But like her asking that, I knew I was gay. In my head I was like, yes, I'm gay, but I'm not about to tell you guys until if someone else might have said something like, yeah, I probably would have told them in secret. Like, okay, me too. But what did you feel like when they asked that? Like,
I think I was the same way. Like, obviously at that time, I think we would have been juniors at that time.
Okay. That makes sense. I really don't remember. It wasn't senior year, I know that for sure. So it was like sophomore, junior.
Yeah. So I was still probably like, still trying to figure my life out. Yeah. And, but that day specifically, I think I was just like, you know, like, I don't see nothing, I don't hear nothing, I'm not saying nothing.
Right, yeah, that's funny. Okay. I just had to know if you remember that because of that. Like it was yesterday. Like that moment, I don't know, and I don't remember who asked it, but I felt like it was one of the Bishop Carroll or the Capeman girls that had asked the question. I think that's why I kind of got like, Yeah, you're not gonna know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. But you and I were so close. We just connected.
I know.
Just connected from there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So you were at Barton College, and was there anybody that identified that way on your softball team then?
Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah. So like once you get into college,
yeah,
especially college softball, it's a lot more like open and a lot more people are already like have already came out, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you feel like that's what helped you like your sophomore year of college, or?
I would say sophomore year, yeah, for sure. I was already out. Freshman year, it was like people trying to just pin those labels on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously you're a softball player. You dress like a dude. Like you're gay.
Yeah.
Because I still wasn't out. Like when I first went to college, you know what I mean. And I was just like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, and I would even like try to like hang out with the dudes or like date the guys. Like even in college, like I'm just trying to find my place. You know, it's such a. Ooh, I think about that now. I'm like, oh no.
So you had a lot of boyfriends growing up.
Dang, you would say a lot.
I mean, you did. Like, me personally, I had one boyfriend. He's my best friend now to today.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, I was even in his wedding, so I only had one. Like, it was off and on, and I didn't really. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't say a lot, no. But I definitely like had boyfriends, and high school I was so like awkward, and I just didn't know who I was. I really didn't talk to anybody or like hang out with anybody. And my family was such a tight knit that if I hung out with somebody, I would be like with my brothers. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like senior year, I started hanging out with that girl, and then after that, that's when I like started like finding myself and like who I like hung out with, or you know whatever. Like even like softball, like we were still with my parents. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Your parents do come around like a lot.
Yeah,
like, that's also good. Like they support you hella. Even during our softball league, they didn't miss a game. They did not miss a game for you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's dope. But so you went to Barton, you played softball. You came out your sophomore year. What did that look like for you when you?
Oh, so that is heavy. So freshman year, I was again family super tight knit. So I was coming home every weekend. I wasn't going out. Wasn't doing anything crazy. I didn't have my first sip of alcohol until I went to college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Like...
And so, like, I was just trying to figure out who I was and what I was all about. And then I met a girl my freshman year. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like the same thing, you know, like going back to like that senior year, like just trying figuring out who I was. And it was just kind of the same thing. And I actually had a full-blown relationship with her. But just like the pressures of society as a whole, of just like coming out and not being in the closet, and I feel like she would kind of felt those pressures as well. The girl that I was with at the time, like she was out and I wasn't, so like we couldn't do a lot of things, you know what I mean? And so like, it was hard on her, it was hard on us as a whole. Yeah. And so I came out in a really bad way.
What's a bad way? Though? Like, how can you come out in a bad way? Like,
so at the time, that girl and I were arguing about me coming out. Uh-huh. And so to prove that I wanted to be with her, I put it on Facebook. Oh. And tagged her in it and everything.
Oh, okay.
And in 20 minutes, I'm not kidding you, it had like 500 likes and like this whole list of comments on it.
Oh my gosh.
It was probably like 3 hours, but it felt like 20 minutes to me, you know, and my mom calls me. Uh-huh. Hey. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I just got a call from your aunt. I'm like, huh? Yeah, my parents didn't have Facebook at the time. Oh, okay. She said you were in like a relationship or something. And I'm like, huh? Oh my God. So I had to come out to my parents because they had already like met my girlfriend at the time. I was bringing her around as my friend.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge ordeal. My parents did not talk to me for almost a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on a books and tuition scholarship for softball, so I was just paying for my housing. My dad, my parents, I always say my dad, but my parents paid for that my first year. And the second year, he said, figure it out. Wow. They wanted nothing to do with me. Obviously, it has a sad story to it, a better ending, obviously. You see that now, but that whole year, they didn't go to any of my games. They didn't show up. I would still come around because that's not how they raised me. I don't turn my back on people. I would still come around, and it would be so awkward. Like when I went home, it would just be so awkward. You could literally just hear a pin drop in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that was your experience too, and I'm thankful for you, like, because your parents are there for you now. But that transition, like a year, and then just you having to figure it out, like that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
With that, like, what was the like? Why was it like that? Like, from going back to your mom's, like, oh, it's when you'd first seen the sophomore and it's just a choice. Then when you tell her about you, why do you think like that was?
I ask myself that question a lot. What was so different? Why was it? I tried to put it on their playing field because they are interracial. My dad's Mexican, my mom's white. So like back then, when they were together, you didn't date a Mexican back then, and so like that's what my mom had gone through.
Yeah.
And so to be on the opposite end of that, I tried to explain that to him, like this times are just changing. Like this is no different than what y'all went through.
Yeah.
They really didn't like that too much. They just didn't see it that way. That's just not how they were raised. Yeah. There's nobody in my family that's gay that I know of, like on either side. Okay. So like the older I get and the more I try to comprehend like what their thought process was, they just never seen it before. Yeah. There's nobody, literally nobody. And they come from Wellington. Yeah. Small town, small minded.
Yeah. And so I'm just like curious, do you remember what was said to you like during that time as to like why they were not just the fact that they said this isn't right? Was there something specific that they like?
I think their biggest thing was that they felt like I had lied to them because I was bringing her around and just like introducing her to as my friend, and like she had like spent the night, obviously, like we would go down for the weekend or whatever. Yeah. So I think that was like their biggest thing, was that they felt like I was lying to them, and that they had been like living a lie instead of me just doing it the right way in their eyes. But in all honesty, they just didn't know how. Yeah.
You have 4 older brothers, so how was your relationship with them that initial when you told them?
So like I said, everybody's just super tight knit, and if my parents are the soul of our relationships. So if you're not in good graces with my parents, you're not really in good graces with anybody. Okay. So as far as the brothers go, like I don't know that I actually like sat down and talked to any of them. Yeah. Like I was in college, I kind of just figured like they would just accept me for what I was, or. But I just, since my parents stopped talking to me, I didn't talk to anybody. Yeah. So like that, my sophomore year was rough. Rough. Yeah. I had nobody. Yeah.
So there wasn't anybody that you could just confide into, like once you.
Oh yeah. No. Like I said, like even like my brothers, also all in college. We're all, so my mom there's 5 of us. She had us all in 6 years. So we're all in school at this time. Like we're all in college at different stages in our lives. So the brother that I'm closest to in age, me and him were super, super close, and he was also in school and just had a baby, and everybody just had their own lives. And I've always had this like super kind, super, I don't want to bug anybody with my stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like,
I feel that 100%.
So yeah, I think that's probably get along so well.
I feel that it's not healthy,
right?
But
it's not.
I relate to that too.
So I just didn't really feel like I just felt like they had their own lives, you know.
Yeah.
So no, my friends at school, and honestly, they probably didn't even know half of what was going on.
Yeah. So the only person you had when you told out, who you came out for, was this girlfriend that you. And how was that? Like.
It was good. I mean, she was there.
Supportive and.
Yeah, for sure.
Was her family supportive too, or?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I think she has her own story about coming out, and she was out, but just didn't bring a lot of people around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, like, we dated for almost 5 years. So, on and off in those first 2 years, just because she was at a different college than I was. So, it was kind of hard.
Yeah.
And also hard with me just being freshly out as well.
So neither one of your family, you couldn't go to either one of your guys' families for real.
Oh yeah.
To just feel that family dynamic. So that was a year that your parents stopped talking to you. What brought it back around? Like, what was it that like your parents were like, okay?
Honestly, if you ask, I feel like if you ask them, it would be a completely different answer than me, obviously. But I truly believe, because I never quit going, I continuously showed up. I went every single weekend just to show them, like, it's still me.
Yeah.
I'm still the same person. Nothing has changed.
Right.
And honestly, I've asked my mom that same question, like, what changed? And she just says that I was the one that taught her how to love again, just because I continuously, like, came around and, like, was able to express to them, like, my words, and, like, actually get it out, you know what I mean? And not just, like, hold it all in or blame everything on them or whatever that looked like. So.
Right. You said that you are biracial, so your mom, you said, is white and your dad is Hispanic. Was your mom's side of the family, like, supportive and, like, more supportive than your dad's side, or was there, like, your dad's side of the family more supportive, or they both just weren't supportive at all?
So we don't really have a relationship with my dad's side.
Okay.
Like, at all. I don't know, like, any of my cousins. I mean, I'm sure I could, like, reach out to them and be like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? But I don't know any of them on my dad's side anymore. My mom's side, not supportive at all. I've actually had, like, cousins, uncles, aunts, like, just completely disassociate themselves, like, with me. Like, perfect example, I babysat one of my cousins for a long time, like, literally fresh out of the womb, like, babysitting them, you know, doing all the things, and they found out that I was gay, and they're like, don't come back to our house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So it's just your core family, your mom, dad, and your brothers who, like, you hang, like, that's what you call family? Like, no cousins, no other aunts, nothing like that.
Well, we actually just went to my mom's side for Thanksgiving, and we have not gone in years.
How
and
was
I was
that?
like, oh my gosh. I literally was like, I'm just gonna go out sick. I'm not gonna do it. My grandma's getting really old. My grandma, she's a G. I love her.
Yeah.
She has never, honestly, I probably could have called my grandma, and she would have been like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, but I've never had that conversation with my grandma. I just always just brought whoever I was with around, and she knew, and she would, at first, I think she was like, just give me, like, the silent treatment, or, you know, but I was used to that. Like, that ain't stopping me, you know? But she came around, obviously, just like everybody else. But just going over to Thanksgiving, though, everybody was super nice and seemed fine, you know. But I don't know if that was like truly like how they felt or you know.
For sure. This is why like a lot of people are gonna relate to like your story right now, just not having that support system. So, like, who is your support system now? Like, who do you have? Like, really who can you say is really in your corner 100%?
Right now, I would say it would be my younger two brothers out of the four. Just where they're at in my age, and we constantly are together talking. Always, I would say those two are always in my corner. If I called them, I could literally call them right now and be like, and they would pick up. Yeah. I know they would. That's good.
So have you brought anybody around your family?
Oh yeah.
You have.
Oh yeah. In the beginning, I was like, I'm not bringing anybody around my family. You know, like my family's my people. But now, like, I like to bring people around my family. Like I'm like just barely talking to somebody. I want them around my family just so I know if they're gonna mesh or not. To be fully honest with you, like I want them around.
Yeah, not because you're a lesbian who just likes to rush into relationships.
Bring in the U-Haul. Come on.
That's funny. So the girl that you were with initially in sophomore year, when you were going back to town every weekend, were you bringing her, or you just didn't bring her around at all anymore? Like,
no, I don't. That time of my life is hard to remember, but I think I just blocked it out.
Right.
I think that she came around later on, but like as I was trying to like figure things out, I don't think she came around with me.
Yeah, we tend to hide our trauma for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so how was your dad during that time, and your mom? Like, do you feel like one was getting more acclimated to like you being a part of the community than the others, or like how do you feel like that switch changed for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna bring around females now?
I feel like my mom came around quicker than my dad did, and I don't necessarily know. I mean, I think that they love me. Don't get me wrong. Like now, I think that they love me. Do I think that they're like, my daughter's gay? No.
Yeah.
You know, like I just don't think that that's what they pictured.
Right.
Obviously, like everybody has a plan that never really works out.
Yeah. Right.
But I think my mom was really the one that kind of came around first, and then kind of like helped my dad come around as well.
So like you said, you've had a conversation with your mom about like what changed or why. Did you ever have that with your dad?
Oh no.
No,
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I love my dad. I have always been like, my dad is my hero. I look up to my dad. I love everything about my dad. I don't know if that's just like something that my mom like portrayed in us as kids that I just carry over with me, but I could be so mad at my dad and just be like, dang, I love him. You know?
Yeah.
So like, that's just, but I know I never really had that conversation with him.
Yeah. I think you're not the only one, because personally for me, like, I haven't like sat down with my family really at all and just like talked about I don't put my sexuality first in the first place, but just like I haven't really had that conversation with them either. But my family wasn't not supportive, but I never really thought like to ask them, how do you truly feel about me? Yeah. I'm an adult now, but just to like, I feel like it's therapeutic to just know, like, do you really mess with me and who I am, or are you just here because you feel like you're obligated to be here because you're my parent type? Yeah. So yeah, I probably will have that conversation with them soon, but
I think, I mean, now that you bring it up, I'm like, dang, I kind of want to know too. You know what I mean?
And just like, because like you said, we're 31. I didn't know we were the same age though, by the way. But back when we would told them, like right now, I feel like the community, like it's getting more spoken about, like the LGBTQ community. So like people that have kids that identify with that, it's becoming there's more resources out here for them to learn and understand it. But for our parents, like you said, there wasn't. Like for you, what was the first representation that you've seen that was a part of the community that you can recall?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that, or the like, only thing that really is sticking out right now is like I went to like a pride event, and like just being around everybody was just so free in its own.
Yeah.
But like,
And when was that? Like, when did you go to your first Pride?
oh wow, it would have been probably like 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you experienced like the gay clubs and stuff like that? Or growing up, did you like? Well, obviously you didn't because Pride was the first one. But like, have you since then? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I've been to the one here.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then I went to one in Colorado, but one in Texas, I guess. But
yeah.
you know.
It's not really. Do you have like a lot of gay friends that you hang out with, or no?
No.
Just all straight people.
Yeah.
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 I feel that. I feel that. That's what I'm also trying to do this because I'm like, where's the community at?
Yes.
We're out here.
Yes.
We just all keep our separate and we hang out with straight people all the time. And like, we just need to come together.
Just start mingling.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's definitely out here. Being a biracial person, how do you feel like those layers, like how do you feel those intersections relate to one another, and has it been a barrier? How has it been a barrier for you?
I feel like it's hard just because like in Kansas and in a small, I mean we're in Wichita now, but like growing up, I can remember I worked at a pizza place. Would have been my senior year, and some little punk white kid just making Mexican jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
you know, and like, it just passes it off like, it's funny, and like, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like even just growing up now, it's no different than.
Sure. And you said Wellington. What there was a lot of Hispanics there.
So I feel like it was like 70-30. I would say
Okay.
like 70 white, 30 Hispanics.
Okay.
Just because, but that's another thing too. Like just because like you have a last name that everybody knows, like you also will get the same like disrespect because of you have a Hispanic last name. Or, you know what I mean? Like a huge one for me is I'm only half. You know, like I'm dark complected, but people be like, "You speak Spanish?" And I'm like, just because I'm brown, you know, like. So I feel like that's just it all just layers on top of each other, and that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Like the labels that people put on you. So like, it's hard. It's hard out here, honestly.
Yeah.
Like day-to-day life between being gay, being homeschooled, being Hispanic, like having all of those labels like put on you. That's tough.
Yeah. How do you get through it though? Like it is tough, but what for someone that's not taking it well, having a hard time, how do you get by with like so much adversity going your way?
Honestly, I think of it as like, how would I want somebody to treat me? How would I want somebody to? That's how like I take it on. Like, yes, people suck. Honestly, like people suck. But also like, I look at it as they probably went through something too.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably their traumas or their hurts that they're portraying onto me is how I try to look at it. Instead of getting mad or getting angry, because that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Just looking deeper and trying to find something of meaning, like maybe they're mad. Maybe they wish they could have came out and they're 80 years old and they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You never know. Everybody has a story.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah. I like that. Everybody has their traumas but it's not right for them to project it on to other people.
No, yeah. Not at all. I'm not saying that at all, but
so
also,
you just ignore it, don't?
I choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
Yes. Just because honestly, is anything good going to come out of it? If I say something,
right.
If I do something, is anything good going to come out of it?
Yeah. That makes sense. So you've been in relationships. So you brought some girls. When was it that you felt comfortable to bring a girl around your parents?
I would say to actually bring somebody, I would probably be my ex-wife when we first started dating. I just knew that she was going to click with everybody. So, and we waited a while before she came around. But I just feel like with her, I was like, I know I'm going to be with you, so you got to meet the fam type of deal.
How was that relationship with her, like, and with your family? How did they vibe, or?
It took a long time. It really did. So just, my family is like they're so tight-knit that they don't like to let anybody in, like, at all.
Yeah.
And so, my ex and I, she just came around. We just came around all the time. And just started slowly, like, forming those bonds. And I feel like my parents' love language is time spent.
Yeah.
And just being able to, like, be around people and, you know what I mean? Like, that's how they know that it's serious or you're serious as a whole, so.
Were you guys in Wellington at the time of your relationship?
No.
Where did you?
When I was with her, I lived in Garden City.
Okay. Is that a safe space for the LGBTQ community, or?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot more gay people out there than you would think.
Okay.
It's not like a
I'll never go to Great Bend. Like, that's nowhere.
Great Bend, Garden City.
Oh, Garden City. I don't go there either.
It's a small town and it stinks.
Yeah.
It's like Dodge. I don't know if you've ever been to Dodge.
Yeah.
It stinks just like Dodge City.
Yeah.
Because it's all packing plants.
Okay.
But there's a good handful of like gay people out there.
So you felt comfortable being like with your partner in that town, like out and open, holding hands?
No, but I've until like recently I've not been ever like comfortable enough to do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like just a more like a protective thing for me. Like, I'm not trying to get hurt by any means. Like, just because I'm holding hands with my girlfriend or you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not doing it.
I used to be that way too.
Yeah.
I did. But I quickly realized, like, it is what it is. When I see straight people holding, dudes going up grabbing, the girls be like, you'll be okay with me holding hands with my partner.
Yeah.
Get over it. Like, But, so you're still not comfortable, or you are now?
Yeah, I feel like now I'm the most comfortable I've ever been, like, in my whole, like, relationship, in any of my relationships.
Good. Now, so you had a wife? Mm-hmm. So what was that marriage process look like? Was it legal here in Kansas? Did you guys get married in Kansas?
Yes. Well, no, not in Kansas. So what we did, we got married. We had like 10 freaking weddings. We had our actual wedding in Mexico.
Okay.
But it wasn't legal there yet.
Oh, okay.
So we came back and we had like a reception, and then we went to Vegas and like made it legal in Vegas.
Okay.
And then we were over there for like a week too. But it just seemed like we had like 10 weddings.
Right, yeah.
Because we were dresses and all the things, you know what I mean?
Did you wear a dress to your wedding?
I did.
You did?
I did. Which is crazy. So that was 10 years ago. Dang. Wow. Long time. 10 years ago. But now, if like I were to get married now, I wouldn't wear a dress.
Why did you wear a dress? We were just talking about how you would never pick out the dresses growing up, and then you wore a dress.
Because I have trauma.
Okay.
I think that I did that for my dad.
Okay.
So my dad walked me down the aisle,
Okay.
and I feel like I did that for my dad. Because even when I was like dress shopping, the lady was like, "We're not letting you leave unless you feel like you're at least an 8 in it." And I was like, "Well, I feel like a 7." So. But I knew even then that I wasn't comfortable like in a dress. Like still, like it was just like a just all the things like replaying for me. But then I was like, I feel like this is something that I have to do for my dad at this point. So
next time. No dress.
No dress.
So your parents were at all of these weddings and receptions and all of your families?
So, no. So it was the one in Mexico. My parents went, and then my 2 of the younger brothers went. And then obviously her family went. But that was it. That was all that went to that. And then my family went to the reception. Like my whole family went to the reception.
Okay.
And then just her family went with us to Vegas.
Okay.
Because my dad was like, I'm tapped out. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I can't do anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but your family at that point, they were supportive of you getting married to a woman. That's good. How was that for you, like, having that acceptance of them in that moment?
Oh, so freeing. So, like, I can actually remember, like, standing, like, up. I guess it would have been the altar. They still have the thingy up there. And just kind of, like, looking at my family and just like, wow. Like, I have come full circle.
Yeah.
Like, just to have them there and to be able to, like, support me. And 10 years prior to that, like, they wouldn't even speak a word to me.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad it did come full circle for
there
you.
It is, yeah.
Because some people are out, like, their family's still not supportive of them.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, let's be grateful for what we have. Like, I think even though a lot of us have accepting families, there's still some things that even our families could work on.
Oh, for sure.
With being more accepting of who I really am as a person. But it's just like being just thankful of what we do have for sure. Like it's not as, our story's light to compare to some others.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Somebody always has it worse, for sure.
Yeah. What you have the cross earring. So are you religious?
I wouldn't say that I'm religious, as I feel like religious is such a heavy term. I believe in God, yes. I do go to church. I do, like, I serve, I volunteer at the church as well. But yeah, I wouldn't say religious, because I feel like that's real heavy.
Yeah. Is your family, like, religious? Or do they go to church and stuff like that?
Yeah, they do now. So within the last like 3-4 years, I feel like one of my brothers, he started going to church, and he just kind of trickled down. He was like, "Hey, I love this church. I want you guys to come check it out." We grew up Catholic, and wow, that, you know, you'd be like falling asleep over there, you know.
I haven't been to a Catholic church.
Never.
No.
Listen, if you're Catholic, I'm sorry, but it's boring. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that.
So yeah, we grew up Catholic. Services are so long, so it's just hard. I have props to anybody that can sit through a normal, like, Catholic, like a mass.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just read, like, straight out of the Bible, and I'm like, I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just hard. But we go to a non-denominational, just church here, there in Derby. And, they all go. And
does the church know? Do they accept you for being part of the community, or?
To a point.
Yeah. What's to a point? You accept me or you don't accept me?
This is a hard topic because there's not a lot of people in this community that believe in God or accept God, or I find it like very rare. Like the people that I talk to that are in the community, they're like, "You go to church?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to give church a bad name, but the church that I go to a point, they accept who I am. Obviously, like, I have conversations with a lot of different people, and they have their own beliefs in that specific church that I go to. And their beliefs are that you get married to a man and a woman. And that is like a huge staple in their church.
Yeah.
So for me, I would never be able to be in a leading role in that church for them. But I can like serve, and like when I go, I do like the teas and the coffees and the waters. You know what I mean? But like to be in like a leadership role, to like do like be like the kids part. Like if I wanted to like teach in like the kids rooms or whatever, I wouldn't be able to do that because our values do not match up.
Got you. Yeah. It is. I do believe in God as well, and my relationship it's like my grandma is very religious, like so that's where I get it from, and just going to church with her every Sunday. And I did kind of steer away from the church because I was like, this is what they're telling, I'm going to hell because I am this way. And so like I like stepped back from that and built my own relationship with God. So it is difficult, and I wouldn't say like every person, like I hang out with LGBTQ people that also believe in God. So like we're out here like that. That is a thing. But were you religious, or did you believe in God before you came out as well,
Oh yeah, like that was a big thing. Like when we were homeschooled, that was our first class. Was we went over a chapter in the Bible every single day.
Okay.
So, but to actually have a relationship with God, I would say just happened for me like within the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
And like just like trying to figure out what that relationship looks like, and you know what I mean. But to actually like talk to God, like I've just started like getting into that.
Yeah. So do you feel like it being out has impacted your journey being in the church?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like being able to be in the church and to know, like, there's so many different like things in the Bible that like talks about like the sins that, you know, but why are we just gonna pick one? You know, like you're not gonna hold that over me.
Yeah.
There's so many in there, you know what I mean? So I felt I wrestled with it for a long, long time, and like I believe in God, but I'm gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
I feel like growing up that was like my mindset the entire time. But just like you said, like being able to like create your own relationship with God, and just to know like that He loves you for exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Is so freeing in its own.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. So you came out when you were a sophomore. So what would you tell someone that's like in college, away from their family, and having a hard time of telling their family, what would you tell that person?
Ooh. To speak their truth. Honestly, like, I've never felt, even though like my family like turned their backs on me, that was when I found out who I was as a person, and I wish I would have done it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I would have been able to figure out who I was way sooner than being a sophomore in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was already 19 at that point.
Yeah.
So, like, speak your truth. Whether it can go one or two ways, you know what I mean? But even, like, coming from me, like, having my family, like, turn their backs against me, again, like, that was just my defining moment in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that made me who I was, who I am today.
Yeah. What would you tell someone's family, like, speak to the family on rejecting their child for being an LGBTQ person?
That they are still the same person. You loved them before, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
They're still the same person. That was like one thing that I try to like tell my parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's still me.
Yeah.
I've not changed. I've been this person my whole life.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on here, being vulnerable, telling your story. You said this is the first time you've ever said this before, so I just appreciate you doing that, and I hope like it helped you out a little bit, just to like get a little bit off of your chest as well. Yeah, so thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me on.
Yes, for sure. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the guests always. If you want to be a guest, reach out. But family, friends, strangers, love. Be nice.